for joining us. Today, we will be looking at beyond the UK Global Talent Visa, beyond the endorsement, leveraging the UK Global Talent Visa with a blueprint. And today, the idea is to look at the entire journey of a talent from the point of getting the endorsement, but before even getting the endorsement, to the point of qualifying, getting the endorsement, relocating, integrating, settling in the UK, and also what next after all of this. Those are the kinds of conversation we'll be having today at the Emigrate Open Day. You're welcome to this edition of Emigrate Open Day. Today's session is going to be in-depth into the entire journey of a global talent, using the UK as a perspective, using the UK Global Talent Visa as a roadmap, as a blueprint, and as a way of looking at this entire journey of becoming globally attractive. Thank you for joining us. It's a 1 hour, 30-minute session at least, and it's a session packed with information. We would answer as many questions as possible, and even those that we are not able to answer live on the call, we'll be able to answer in our communities. If you've not done so already, you should join the Emigrate community. You should download the Emigrate app, join the community from the app, and then you can use that to start your journey on the Emigrate platform towards being globally attractive and your journey to relocation and settlement in the UK, US, Canada, France, Australia, Germany, and many others. Portugal, and there are several resources on the Emigrate platform for different pathways for different countries. But today, the pathway we are focused on is the UK, specifically the UK Global Talent Visa. That's the pathway we will be talking about today, although we will touch on other visa opportunity during today's session. Our focus of today's session will be the UK Global Talent Visa. If you're interested in other visa opportunity, we do note down the Emigrate platform. We do have sessions across multiple visas and multiple opportunities across the world. But today's session, UK Global Talent Visa. If you're an absolute beginner in the room, you're welcome. This is a session for you because you'll be learning about what you should do over a period of time. If you're somewhere in the intermediate level, this is for you because you'll be learning about things, some of the things you've already done that qualifies you, and some things that you should be doing right now that could qualify you in the shortest possible time for a visa like the UK Global Talent Visa. If you're advanced in your journey, you're welcome. If you're ready to apply, you're welcome because you'll be learning tips how to position yourself, how to tell your story, the story of your profile, the story of you being globally attractive. You'll be learning a lot of this during today's session. And also, if you're looking to switch your visa from one visa already in the UK and looking to switch from one visa to the other, you're welcome because you'll be learning about the UK Global Talent Visa, which is a viable pathway to switch to if you are already qualified or if you have time to build yourself to qualify over a period of time. So thank you for joining us at today's edition of Emigrate Open Day. If you're watching the replay video, you're welcome. Please introduce yourself in the comments on any platform where you're watching this, or ask your question also in the comments. Our community managers will do well to make sure you get answers to your question from one of the coaches on the Emigrate platform. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Introduce yourself. We'll ask that you introduce yourself in the chat. You can share your LinkedIn, you can share your profile, you can share where you are joining from, you can share where you are connecting from at today's edition of Emigrate Open Day. You can share what you do in the chat because you never know, you may be meeting somebody that will be pivotal to your journey a member of the community such as yourself, but maybe pivotal to your journey. You may be meeting your next employee, your next employer, your next co-founder, your next partner. You may be meeting them right here on this forum and on this platform because this is a community event, and you're welcome and thank you for joining us. Today's session, we will start by sharing a bit about what Emigrate is and what Emigrate is not. Then we'll get into the crux of the conversation for today, which is taking a high-level look at the UK Global Talent Visa beyond the endorsement, looking at the entire blueprint or an entire journey from not yet qualified, not even started the journey at all in the field of technology, to the point of getting endorsed, to the point of relocating, integrating, settling in the UK, and also to the point of thriving and maybe even what they currently call reverse migration. We will talk about the entire journey during today's edition of Emigrate Open Day and why it's important to aspire for visas like the UK Global Talent Visa. If you are not yet qualified, you should be working for visas towards qualifying for visas like this. If you're already qualified, you should be making sure that you can land a visa like this, unlike some other pathways that are available, and unlike some of the pathways that are even also for globally attractive individuals. But this may be one of the ones you want to make sure you work towards as soon as possible. It could be a multi-year journey, it could be a multi-month journey, it could be a multi-week journey, it could just be a few days journey, but it's a journey all the same, and we'll be looking at a blueprint how you can get there. If you wait till the end of this session today, we do have a gift for you, and we will share what that gift is towards the end of the session. And so do stay tuned to the end or watch this replay video till the end, and because we do have a gift for you, and that gift could be pivotal to your journey towards being globally attractive. We also have a lot of information to share about different other pathways for different countries of the world where they are also looking for talents such as yourself. And if you haven't done so, where you want to start is the Emigrate Tech Visa app. On the Emigrate platform, a lot of what we do for free, we deliver now through the Emigrate Tech Visa app. You can also connect with the Emigrate AI, with the Emigrate platform on Telegram. We have a Telegram bot, we have a WhatsApp bot, we have AI that's able to assist your journey. The Emigrate AI is available as AI assistant and also AI agents that is able to help a lot of the things that we're going to be talking about today. But don't let me get ahead of myself. Welcome, welcome, welcome. On the Emigrate platform, we've done quite a number of Emigrate Open Days in the past. And for many of these open days, you will find the replay video on the Emigrate platform. We've talked about the Australian National Innovation Visa. We've talked about the French Tech Visa. We've talked about the Canada Startup Visa and several other pathways that are available for you to explore. We've talked about the UK self-sponsorship route. We've talked about the UK Innovator Founder route. All of these have resources available, helpful checklist, and so on available on the platform. And these are resources that we invite you to explore if you haven't done so already, as part of driving your journey towards being globally attractive. Thank you for those introducing themselves in the chat. Don't forget, you can introduce yourself in the chat. Welcome to Emigrate. We'll talk about this Emigrate package that's still ongoing, and we still have a few slots available for this package this year. And so we'll talk about it, which is our Settle in the UK as a Tech Talent package. This is specifically for the UK, and this is an option available for beginners and experts in the field. If you're an absolute beginner, not even started your journey in the field of technology at all, this is a pathway for you. If you've already started your journey, you're an expert in the room, this is also a pathway for you. It's a pathway that allows you to move with your spouse and dependent. It's a pathway that is also available if you're looking to switch or looking for a pathway to settlement in the UK. If you're an absolute beginner, it's a fantastic route for you. If you're already in the field of technology, whether the technical or the business side of technology, it's a fantastic pathway for you. And if you already have some startup experience or background in your profile, this is a fantastic pathway for you as well. So, absolute beginner, already in tech, or already have startup background. You will need time and equity investment for you to be able to explore this particular pathway. And you would need to also have at least 3 to 6 months timeline minimum for you to be able to explore this pathway. If this is of interest to you, because it comes with a triple guarantee on the Emigrate platform, you can send a message to any of these addresses or phone, and they will be able to point you in the right direction of what you need to do next if you're exploring that particular package. This is just one out of many packages on the platform. We have free options, we have do-it-yourself options, and so you can explore some of these. And if you're interested in one of the premium options, just let them know, and that way they can direct you to what you need. And if it's the free you're interested in, most of it is delivered through the Emigrate app at the moment. And if you need help, you can also ask from our AI assistants. You can ask for help from our human assistants as well. What is Emigrate? What we are is we help you become globally attractive talents. We help individuals become globally attractive talents. That's what Emigrate does. And yes, it's true that many of us on the call are interested in one visa pathway or the other, are interested in pathways to settlement, are interested in pathways to becoming globally attractive. But for us, what it is that being the visas are a side effect of something far greater. Many of these visas are available not because the countries want to do the individual a favor. They are not doing you a favor for making these visa opportunities available. The countries of the world have realized that talent is what is critical to grow their economy, to grow their polity. And so many forward-thinking countries of the world have made different visa pathways available for people who can be net economic contributor to their economy, for people who are talents. And what these countries are saying is that, yes, we would like you to come with your dependents, come with your family, come with everything about you, move to our jurisdiction, because we've calculated it that net, we are better off having you in our jurisdiction. You bring your ideas, you bring your innovation, you will bring high taxes, you will create employment. Even if you're not an entrepreneur, because you're an expert, there will be many people who will be supporting that your expertise, which is creating new jobs in their economy. And so they've calculated all of that and said, yes, we will like you to come to our jurisdiction or settle in our jurisdiction if you're already there. This is why many of these visa pathways that we talk about on the Emigrate platform, this is why they are open and this is why they are available. Some of us may have been aware of some rhetorics and policy changes that the UK government made in May 2025. And in May 2025, the UK government made a number of changes blocking some migration pathways in the UK. What many people did not realize and what many people did not read in that same white paper, not a second one, the same white paper, is that in that same white paper, the UK government created a multi-million pound fund to attract global talents to move into the UK. And so if you were surprised by what I just said, just go check the white paper again and you will see what we are talking about. We're saying to you that every one of these countries, as long as they are forward thinking, understand that the talent flow has to be to their jurisdiction, not out of their jurisdiction, or else they will not be competitive in the long run. This is why many of these visa opportunities are available. And the reason why I've spent some time on this today session is because we want you to have that mindset to say you are the talent that they are looking for. We are not asking you to pretend to be that talent. You are that talent. Even if you are not yet qualified today, you can qualify over a period of time. And this is why this platform exists, to show you the way, to show you the pathway, to show you a blueprint, to help you along that journey of being globally attractive. Because if you are globally attractive, you have options. You can decide to stay in your home economy and contribute within your home economy. You can decide to stay in your home economy and decide to work remotely, work globally. You can decide for whatever reason to say, oh, you want to move to a new economy, and those economies will open up to you. And you can decide if you want to settle in that economy or move to a third country. You have all of those options because you are globally attractive. And when we say become globally attractive on the Emigrate platform, we typically look at two options. One is you, your own individual profile. And sometimes your business, your startup can become your visa and sometimes also your ticket to move to your dream destination. Several countries of the world, the UK Global Talent Visa, the US O1 visa for individuals with exceptional ability, Australia National Innovation Visa, French Tech Visa, Hong Kong has their version of the Global Talent Visa. You get my drift. This is what we help you explore on the Emigrate platform. This is what we help you relocate on the Emigrate platform. This is what we help you settle in on the Emigrate platform. And this is why we exist as a platform. And this is why we are here to help as many people as possible to explore different options. Today, our focus will be on the UK. Today, our focus is on the UK Global Talent Visa. And so practically in terms of services that we offer on the platform, our platform offers information, inspiration. Our platform offers general inquiry, coaching and handholding, preliminary assessment towards you being able to qualify, self-directed roadmap towards qualification, a roadmap to being globally attractive. We also share things like information along the UK Global Talent Visa and every one of these visa options that we've talked about. And we look at options to say, even if you're doing it yourself, you've applied, you didn't get the result you were expecting, you can also apply for things like the endorsement review on the platform. It gets better because most of what we do on the Emigrate platform is actually free. Over 80% of what we do on the platform is free. And we're a business. The reason why it's free is because we operate a freemium model. A freemium model is similar to what you have with Gmail, where most people don't pay for Gmail, but the few people that pay makes Gmail extremely profitable for their mother company, which is Google or Alphabet. Similar model is what we run on the Emigrate platform. On the free side, you have access to the Emigrate Tech Visa app. You have access to information and inspiration, the open days, the community, introductory video, helpful checklist, pre-evaluation form, some of the do-it-yourself roadmap and templates, all of that available for you free of charge on the platform. You can even get a clarity session at no cost to you on the platform, although we limit that to just one per individual on the platform. On the premium side, you have access to the Emigrate Circle, personalized coaching, and several others, and several packages on the Emigrate platform. On the premium side, you can look at the do-it-yourself with a subscription. You can look at the do-it-with-me option, or you can look at the do it for me option on the premium side. And we have multiple packages that you can explore on the platform, like the UK Global Talent Visa, the UK Innovator Founder Visa, the move to the UK as an Innovator Founder, which is the UK Innovator Founder Visa pathway, or move to the US as a Global Talent, looking at the likes of the O1, EB1, and EB2 NIW options. Move to Canada as a startup founder, exploring the Canada Startup Visa. We have the self-start UK route, which looks at the UK self-sponsorship. We have the settle in the UK one, which I explained earlier, that looks at 3 visas at the same time with the emigrate triple guarantee. And there are several of these options and packages available on the platform. In terms of how the packages work, this gives you a good idea of what the free offering offers, what our do it yourself with a subscription offers, what our do it with me offers, and what our do it for me options offer. And if you're interested in any one of these, what you would need to do is to get the Emigrate Tech Visa app. And the Emigrate Tech Visa app is where you can start the journey from. For all of these visa pathways that we've talked about so far, there is a lowest common denominator. And the lowest common denominator is that be globally attractive. Because if you are globally attractive, you have these options. You have options of various visa pathways. And this is what we are exploring together today, because today we will focus on the UK Global Talent Visa, looking at the entire journey and then looking at the pathway to settlement and why you should aspire for this particular pathway. I need to mention upfront that this is not legal advice. This is not immigration advice. This is information that we're sharing. It's insight, it's inspiration, it's coaching, it's handholding, and all of these we offer on the Emigrate platform, but we do not offer legal advice or immigration advice. We do partner with lawyers and immigration consultants. So if your case requires it, we can refer you. You can get discounts. You can even get some free from some of our partners on the Emigrate platform. However, we do not offer that across all the services and across the platform. So please be aware of this. And so, like I said, today's session is around beyond endorsements, leveraging the UK Global Talent Visa with a blueprint. We're going to take a short water break. And when we come back, we will be looking at the UK Global Talent Visa. What is it? And then we will take it from there to look at the blueprint towards the UK Global Talent Visa. We'll be right back. While we are taking the break, if you haven't done so already, do introduce yourself. Share with us where you're joining from. Let us know what your expectation for this session is. We will tailor the conversation towards some of the things we see in the community and also in the chat. We'll be right back. Thank you for joining us in today's edition of Emigrate Open Day. For those just joining, this is the Emigrate Open Day focused on the UK Global Talent Visa. That's what we are focused on today on the platform. We do have other pathways on the Emigrate platform if you're looking at that. But today's session is focused on the UK Global Talent Visa. If you have questions, please drop them in the chat as we go along. You would notice that you may forget a lot of your questions very quickly because we are going to be dropping a lot of information. So as you ask the question, as you think of the questions, please ask them in the chat. Don't wait till later in the session because you may forget some of the ones you wanted to ask earlier. While we're at it, we would like you to also let us know what your expectation is. We've also let you know that if you wait till the end of this session, we do have a gift for you. And so in this section, we'll talk about the UK Global Talent Visa. The UK Global Talent Visa is a visa that the UK government has made available for individuals who are able to show themselves as being leading talents in their field. The UK Global Talent Visa is not only available for the field of digital technology, although right now on the Emigrate platform, we focus 100% on technology routes. That's what we focus on at the moment on the Emigrate platform. However, the visa itself is available to you if you are in multiple fields of endeavor: arts and culture, fashion, engineering, architecture, and also digital technology, just to name a few. The way the visas work is that the UK government, via the Home Office, have created what they call endorsing bodies. They've engaged endorsing bodies, and those endorsing bodies have been given the right to determine whether or not an individual qualifies to be named and awarded the UK Global Talent Visa. That process is called an endorsement process. What the endorsing body does is that they review your profile, they review everything that the individual has presented based on their guideline. And based on that, an assessor, this is human, not AI, and it's not automated, an assessor who is familiar with that individual's field will review and take a decision to say, it used to be a panel, nowadays one or two, depending on how complicated your case is, to say whether or not they believe you qualify under the guideline that they have set for that particular visa. In the case of this conversation today, we are focused on the pathway in digital technology. As I mentioned, Emigrate Tech Visa is focused on the technology route, but whether you're on the technical side of technology or the business side of technology, that's where we are focused on. And the endorsing body for that particular route is a company called TechNation. And yes, I know some of us may have heard that, oh, TechNation was shutting down, the route was shutting down in the past, and all of that was not true. What had happened is that TechNation got acquired. So the actual company, the shareholders of the company has changed, but TechNation as a brand has been maintained by a different company called Founders Factory. Now, in the sense of the UK Global Talent Visa for the field of digital technology, which I would just call TechNation Visa. So the reason why it's called TechNation Visa is because TechNation is the endorsing body for the visa. TechNation has put out a guideline to say this is a guideline that helps you to, in terms of, this is the guideline the assessors would use to determine whether or not you qualify. But I would say it's in a different way. This is a guideline that you can use to measure your profile and check if you are qualified already. But it gets better because even if you're not yet qualified, that same guideline can become something you can use to determine whether or not you could qualify in the future. On the TechNation Visa Guide, and we're going to go back there in a moment, I'm going to share my screen. The TechNation Visa Guide shares what is expected of your profile. But before we drill down into the profile, before we drill down into the criteria, before we drill down into some of the things that they are looking for, and so on, I would like to mention that don't build your profile towards the guide. Use the guide as a kind of microcosm, blueprint to say these are the kinds of things that they are looking at. You can, because you're an expert, you can also project to say what are the kinds of things they may be looking at in the future. You'll find that, and we've talked to many, we have over 30 UK global talent successes on our Emigrate platform, and we've had over 50 successes as regards different pathways on the platform. So we're doing something really well. We have over a 90% success rate. So we're doing something really well on the platform. Now, when you talk to some of our successes and even some that we coach towards success as well, one of the things you would hear, and we bring a number of people on this Emigrate platform, you will find a number of videos that we've done. We've done over 100, speaking with different talents who shared their own detailed journey, who shared their journey of what documents they submitted, what they used, what relationship they leveraged, and so on. All of these are available on the Emigrate platform. It's even categorized for you in a way where you can find the specific one you're looking for. If you're looking for the one for your own specific profile, somebody that has gone ahead of you and so on, you will find it on the platform, most likely. Now, when you talk to a number of these successes, some of them will tell you that, yes, the things that I was doing, I wasn't doing it because I was trying to apply for one visa or the other. I didn't even know that all of these things will count one day. What they were doing was that they were just building their profile, they were just adding value, they were contributing to their ecosystem, and so on. And those things that they were doing happened to be things that qualified them eventually. But your journey can be better optimized than that. We're saying that don't just say, oh, they are looking for me to speak at an event that has 100 people. So let me go and speak at an event that has 100 people, then I will submit it. If you take that approach, your chances of success are low, but more important, your journey will be frustrating. Your approach should be, yes, this is the bar that they've set for me. Let me aim higher, which is the reason why we on this platform, our focus is be globally attractive. Then you have options. Don't just look at what the UK is asking for. Look at what the US is asking for. Look at what Australia is asking for. And you'll find that a lot of these has the same common denominator. And so please, as we go through the guide, understand that the guide is supposed to be that, a guide. It's not supposed to be that this is the exact model that I must fall into. Every single individual, every single talent is different. Every single talent has their own uniqueness. In fact, if you don't have that uniqueness, that niche, that part of your industry where you can point yourself to say you are top one, top two, top three in your niche, then this visa is likely not for you. There are other visa opportunities out there, but it is likely not for you in that sense. But don't get me wrong, when I say niche, it can be a small place that you've carved for yourself. You need to figure it out. Because think about it, if every single software developer qualifies, then every single software developer would apply. And every single software developer would have to be granted the visa, which means if they so wished, every single software developer would be able to move to the UK. The answer is no, they don't. Because the UK is looking for the people who are able to show themselves as leading in their field of digital technology. They don't want supporting players. They don't want you, if what you're saying you're doing is, oh, you are the person that supported the main person to deliver the value. And this will come to some of the things that you should make sure you do for yourself, which is that when you tell your story, in this particular context, don't just say we did it. Because it becomes very confusing to the assessor to determine, okay, which part did you do? Which part did other people do? This is part of the reason why it is harder if you work in a large multinational. First of all, you need to be working in the product-led digital technology, right? But if you work in a large multinational, it is harder for you to be able to show what you did that nobody else did in that setting. Also, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying people that work in large multinationals do not qualify. We have many successes on the Emigrate platform who were working for large banks, and so on. There were angles in which they used to show themselves that I stand out. I'm a leading talent in my field. And so the point I'm making here is that as we go into the guide, and the guide is what they've used to say, this is what we are measuring your profile against. Ensure that as you build your journey, you're building your journey towards being globally attractive. You're building your journey towards you qualifying. And if you're already qualified, which we find a number of people on the Emigrate platform, we find a number of people that apply and they become unsuccessful, not because they are not qualified, but because they don't tell their story in the way their assessor will see easily that, yes, this is one of the people that we are looking for. Not everybody qualifies, as I said earlier, but then some people that qualify get rejected. In fact, some of the successes we've had on the Emigrate platform, and we've had many, some of them were people that applied, they got rejected, then they came on the platform, and then just speaking with a coach, working with a coach, and so on, then they are able to apply again, and then they were successful. What was the difference? And if you ask them, and many of them have shared their story on this platform, you can go watch the open days where they've shared their stories as well. If you ask them, the comparison of their initial application and then the new application they made is a world apart. One of the mistakes that people make is that they sometimes think the assessor have their context. The assessor may not have your context. The assessor may not understand how this is an important startup in your ecosystem that you have built. The assessor may not understand that this your achievement is actually industry leading in your local ecosystem. The assessor may not understand that, oh, this particular event that you are talking about is one of the main events in your ecosystem list of events, in your home economy's ecosystem. And you have to help the assessor see all of these things to say, if you're counting talents in my ecosystem, I stand out and I stand apart as a leading talent in my field. With the UK Global Talent Visa, there are two types of the visa. There's the exceptional talent and there's the exceptional promise. With the exceptional talent visa, what you're saying is that I am already a leading talent in my field of digital technology. But there's also the exceptional promise visa. With the exceptional promise, what you're saying at that point is that I have the potential of becoming a leading talent, and I've been recognized as such in my ecosystem. If you have more than 5 years of experience in the field of technology, you cannot be assessed as exceptional promise. At that point, you can only be assessed as exceptional talent. This is important to note because sometimes what some people do is that they apply without even knowing this information, as simple as it is and as clearly detailed as it is on the Technation Visa Guide. However, when I said 5 years of experience, that 5 years of experience is 5 years of experience in the field of technology. So it's possible that you may have other experience outside of the field of technology. That doesn't count towards the 5 years of experience. What they will count is when you switch to the field of technology and then how many years since when you switched. That is where the 5 years counts. So for example, if you've been a lawyer for 10 years and then you switch to legal tech, maybe as CEO, co-founder, or somebody significant in a legal tech firm, maybe 3 years ago, and so you have a total of 13 years of experience, but 3 years in a legal tech that has gained some traction, you likely would qualify under the exceptional promise route because when they count, they are only counting that you have 3 years of experience in the field of technology. The only thing they are counting is not experience. Some people have heard me say this before, and then what they decided was that, oh, I have 3 years of experience, so therefore I qualify. No, that's not the only thing they are looking at. They are looking at several things, and where you want to start from is the guide. I need to mention something else, and I'm sharing my screen at this point. Please let me know if you can still hear me. Let me know if I'm making sense. Let me know if I'm touching on some of the questions you already have. And let me know if there are questions you have. Drop them in the chat, drop them in the comments. Let us know so that way we will be able to focus on the pain points that you have and we'll be able to add as much value as possible. We want to help. Let us help. In speaking about this, though, one of the things that some people do is that they forge their documents. In some cases, trying to reduce their years of experience and things like that. We would send a note of caution, as TechNation has also done on the TechNation visa guide, that this is an immigration application that you are making at the end of the day. Don't falsify your evidence. Don't, and yes, you can garnish your story, but please don't lie. Yes, you can tell your story in a way where they are able to appreciate the kind of journey that you've done, because a number of times, a number of people undervalue themselves. But please do not make false claims. Do not say you worked for a company that you never worked for, on all sorts of things that people tend to do. It could earn a permanent ban. And the reason why this has become a really large one on this site is because Technation is seeing more and more and more fraudulent applications. In fact, we see cases where people use recommendation letters or recommenders that they don't know. And worse still, a recommendation letter where the recommender does not even know that they recommended someone because you just went to pick somebody's name on the internet and you wrote a letter as if you are the person and all of those kinds of nonsense. If you're a talent, you have options. If you're globally attractive, you have options. But back to the session. Applicant suitability. When I talked about tech, I did not say the technical skills only, because the field of technology is actually two parts to it, many parts to it, but two key parts, the technical side and the business side. So on the technical side, your skill could be DevOps engineer, software engineer, cybersecurity expert, and so on. But it could also be the business side, which could be product management, digital marketing, sales, commercial leadership, and so on. All of these can potentially also qualify. A keynote, though, is that with the Technation visa specifically, they only want product-led digital technology. So if what your experience is in the consulting side of technology, and there's a huge consulting part of technology, if your experience is around deploying an ERP solution, for example, and things like that that are more consulting, outsourcing, and all, you by default do not qualify according to the Technician guide. If, however, some of that work has been done in a product-led context, you may want to reconsider to see how you are telling your story, because it's possible you could qualify from that product-led context lens. But by default, you do not qualify if what you're doing is you're consulting or working for a consulting firm. And it's the same thing as well to say if you're a contractor to that product-led organization, you are not an employee. And I know that for some companies, although you are an employee of the company, because of employer on record, ability to pay you, and so on, the contract you have says you're a contractor. As far as technician is concerned, you're a contractor. Okay, so if you can get a updated letter from your employer and so on, it may be beneficial for you in that context. But please bear in mind that by the technician visa guide, you could be a technical applicant in a non-technical field. You could be a non-technical applicant in a technical organization. But if you are non-technical in a non-technical organization, then you also by default would not qualify. In terms of suitability, exceptional promise, exceptional talent, two categories of the visa. And what you need to understand with the visa is that with the exceptional promise or exceptional talent, the same criteria applies just at different levels. There are five of that criteria. You would need to qualify under three out of the five criteria. And you can find a lot more detail in the Technician Visa Guide. We also have an Emigrate Open Day where we've drilled down into all of these requirements. It's not our intention today. I wanted to just give that introduction so that you get an idea of what it is that we're talking about. With the Technician visa, you get access to, if you qualify under exceptional talent, it is 3 years to indefinite leave to remain in the UK. And that is the UK definition of permanent residency. If you qualify under the exceptional promise route, it is 5 years to indefinite leave to remain in the UK, which is permanent residency in the UK. And so whether it is exceptional talent or exceptional promise, the UK Global Talent Visa is seen as a gold standard in visas because it's one of the tier one visas, but more important, it's one of those visas that have the shortest pathway towards settlement residency in the UK. We don't know the answer to this yet because the government has not released their actual policy. But then a question that people would ask is, yes, they're saying that it will be 10 years to indefinite leave to remain and so on. That's based on the policy that came out in 2025 UK government. The truth is that there will always be room for talent in that same white paper, not a different one, not updates to the white paper. The UK government actually said they will make room for economic contributors such as global talent to be able to settle faster in the UK. So we don't know the answer yet because the policy has not actually been released, but we know for a fact that when the policy is released, we are very sure that there will be room for faster settlement for economic contributors such as the UK Global Talent Visa recipients. We will see. This is a prediction now. It's not fact yet until the policy is out. And so when the policy is out, we will update based on whatever the UK policy is at the end of the day. And so with the UK Global Talent Visa, this is part of why, and we're coming now to our key focus for today, which is beyond the endorsements. Now, with this visa, and part of why it's called the gold standard in visas is because it's one of those visas that allows you to do anything you want to do in the UK. Two exceptions is that you can't be a sports person and you can't be a doctor. Those are the two key exceptions. Aside from that, you can decide that you want to work for other people as a contractor, as a permanent staff, and so on. You can. You can decide that you want to start a business, any kind of business. So it doesn't even have to be like the innovator founder visa where it has to be a startup. It can be any kind of business. You can decide you want to go to school. You can decide you want to just freelance, you want to just be an advisor, you want to just be a board member. It gives you flexibility in the UK. And this is rare in many other visa routes. Also available for talent, but rare in the sense that they restrict in one way or the other. With the UK Innovator Founder Visa, you have restrictions to say, yes, you can work with other employers, but you must build and spend considerable time building your startup. With the UK Skilled Worker Visa, it has restrictions to say you have to work for your primary employer and you can only do 20 hours part-time with anybody else, any other employer, and you can't even set up a business at that point in time while you're on the visa. Your dependent can, you shouldn't. And so if you compare all of these, and all of these are good pathways too, but you would see that this is a better pathway. Also, if you look at the pathway to settlement, with the UK Global Talent Visa, the only requirement is you need to have earned some income in your field of digital technology expertise. What that means is that, I mean, as long as you've earned some money, you would qualify under that criteria, whether you've earned the money as a self-employed, as an entrepreneur, as a director, as a employee, as a contractor, and so on. You qualify already. Compare that with the Innovator Founder Visa, that there is a test that your business must meet for you to qualify for indefinite leave to remain. And we've spent some time focusing on the Innovator Founder Visa, which is a viable pathway as well for settlement in the UK. I'm just saying that if you compare these two visa opportunity, the UK Global Talent Visa is definitely a better route to take. And so what we're saying is that this, if you're not yet qualified, this may be a visa option that you want to aspire to work your way towards qualifying for. If you're already qualified, though, this is a visa option that you may want to make sure you package your profile and show to say you're already qualified. We see people who already qualify for the UK Global Talent who don't need the masters, deciding that, oh, it's the student route that they want to take to move to the UK. Some of it because they are qualified, but they don't realize they are qualified. And some of it because of the name escapes me right now. Somebody please remind me in the chat. The name escapes me right now, but it's a syndrome that I'm talking about, where although you qualify, you look beneath, you look beneath yourself. Please remind me the name in the chat. Hoping somebody will give me. No, not ban imposter syndrome. Thank you. That's what I was looking for. And so the key point I'm making here is that explore your profile, take a look at that guy that I showed earlier and check, is this something I'm already qualified for? If yes, what should I do next? And if no, not yet qualified, then is there something I can do so that I can move me closer to being qualified, even if I'm on a different visa, even if I'm not yet interested in a move to the UK? Even if I have 2 years on post-study visa and I should build my profile now. Because we believe that an absolute beginner can qualify within a 1 to 2 year period with transferable skills, obviously, for the UK Global Talent Visa on their exceptional promise level. But you have to do the right thing every day for you to be able to qualify in such a short period of time. If you're already qualified, though, even better, because what you then need to do is to show yourself as being qualified. And so I'm coming now to the beyond the endorsement part of this conversation today, and then we are going to open up for questions. And so at this point, what we would ask you to do is the technician visa guide we've shared. we've shared about the UK Global Talent Visa. Could you drop on the chat something that you feel we should have mentioned about the UK Global Talent Visa that you are familiar with? Or for others that are just getting familiar with this particular pathway, could you drop something in the chat that you were impressed to hear about or you were surprised to hear about? But we would like you to just share something in the chat at this point. We'll take another water break. We'll be right back and we'll be looking at beyond the endorsement and some of the things that you should be thinking about across the entire journey for a global talent. So don't forget, if you're already familiar with this pathway, let us know some things that you feel others should know that I've not mentioned so far. And then if you're not yet familiar, let us know some things I've mentioned so far that you found interesting. We'll be back in a moment. Yeah, welcome. We're back. We're coming to the third segment of today's edition of Emigrate Open Day. Today, we have been focused on, and we are still focused on the UK Global Talent Visa. And that's the visa pathway, one of the 5 pathways to relocation and settlement in the UK available on the Emigrate Tech Visa platform for the UK, and one of the pathways available for the different countries that we support as regards Emigrate Tech Visa, which is the tech-enabled pathway to relocation and settlement in countries like the UK, US, Canada, France, and many others. The UK Global Talent Visa is regarded as one of the gold standards in visas, and it's one of the visa opportunity that a number of people that qualify may not be aware they qualify for. But even if you are not yet qualified, you can work towards qualifying. And when you do qualify, you can get endorsed. And when you do get endorsed, you can relocate, integrate, and settle in the UK on the UK Global Talent Visa. And today, we wanted to share a bit more around the journey beyond endorsements. As we mentioned, the endorsement is only a step in that journey towards being globally attractive. At this point, as we're coming towards the end of today's edition, this is the point where if you have questions, it may be based on what I've talked about so far. It may also be based on what you came into the room and you would like answers for. This is an opportunity to ask those questions. Please drop the questions in the chat. We would look into beyond the endorsement for a bit. And then once we do that, we will then come to the chat to take as many questions as possible. All right. I'm sharing my screen. Please confirm you can see my screen because I'm going to use this. Okay, yes, you can see my screen. I'm going to use this to talk about beyond the endorsement because what we would like you to see, and this slide talks about some of the value that the Emigrate platform brings because Emigrate brings a strong partner ecosystem And above this line, you're saying is the value that we bring in terms of our Emigrate platform. And then below the line are ecosystem partners that can help you along that entire journey. And so you can take a screenshot of this if you're interested in what Emigrate brings. And oops, sorry. You can take a screenshot of this. Uh, oh, yeah. You can take a screenshot of this because what we are helping you see would be that with this journey, it's a journey at the end of the day. It could be a multi-year journey, it could be a multi-month journey, it could be a multi-week journey if you're already qualified. But it is a journey that you can get on and you can, at the end of the day, get access to the visa opportunity that you are interested in, which in this case is the UK Global Talent Visa. On the Emigrate platform, we help you to plan, we help you to qualify, we help you to get endorsed, we help you to settle, we help you to thrive. And should you be interested in moving to a third country or moving back to your own country at a higher level, the Emigrate platform can help you to plan again, to qualify again, to get endorsed, to settle, to thrive, and so on. What we've done is we've built the right technology across all of these journeys with the right coaches, with the coaching marketplace, and with the ecosystem partners, and so on, so that everything you need for your journey towards being globally attractive is in one place, which is the Emigrate platform. And the journey for the global talents will start from preparation. You would see that in the screen, you would see that the endorsement is right in the middle of that journey. But that journey will typically start from preparation because if you are an absolute beginner, what you would need to do is you want to prepare your profile. You want to make sure that your profile, you will start that journey. You may need training, you may need education, you may need to build something, but you want to start preparing yourself. At that stage, one of the things that you can use is for you to start with a pre-evaluation platform. With the pre-evaluation, this is free on the Emigrate platform. You can put in your profile where you are today. And based on that, it will give you some idea of what your journey could look like, what options are available to you. With the UK Global Talent Visa, if you want to do it manually, what you can do is look at the UK Global Talent Visa in terms of the Tech Nation Visa Guide, the document I shared earlier. It will take you 1 hour to read that document. And we are asking that you read it twice. The first time, read it by itself. Second time, read it with a pen and paper. And when you read it, what you want to do is that you want to note down the things that you already have that qualifies, or the things that you could build over a period of time that could qualify. And that brings us to the next stage of that journey, which is the roadmap. We believe that every talent should have a roadmap for their journey. And so, yes, it is true that you could do all sorts of things without you being targeted, and eventually you eat your results. Because they've said that a faulty clock is right at least twice a day. Of course, it's old school because most people don't use the analog clock anymore. But you get my point. So yes, it's possible that you don't have a plan and you can still arrive at being endorsed, but that's not the optimal journey. The optimal journey is that you should have a roadmap for yourself. The roadmap will help you towards what do I need to do today so that I can qualify within the shortest possible time. Regardless of if you're an absolute beginner, you are already at intermediate level, or you are the advanced level of your journey. Once you do that, it will reveal to you immediately to say, oh, this is something, or it's a 1-year journey, it's a 2-year journey, it's a 5-year journey, or maybe it's a 2-week journey, it's a 3-week journey. because sometimes some people already have transferable skill, transferable experience. They have things that they've not counted, and those things actually count towards their endorsements. We've seen that a lot of times, and we've seen that where people don't realize that, oh, invitations in their email, for example, can count. Because if they've invited you for some major industry events, but you could not attend, the fact that they invited you count for something, because somebody somewhere saw you as a leader to invite you. But although you could not speak, you could not attend because of scheduling conflicts and stuff like that, that still shows something to the assessor. And my point there is that a roadmap of what are the things that you can do today towards you qualifying within the shortest possible time. What can you build? What are you already building? What can you optimize? What can you do differently? And all of that should form some sort of roadmap. And it doesn't have to be fancy. Although, yes, on the Emigrate platform, if you come and we help you do the roadmap and the AI does the roadmap, it will look really fancy with days, with things that you can do on a daily basis towards qualifying and all of that. But that's not the point right now. The point right now is that whether you do it yourself, you do it with a coach, or you do it for me, whichever way, make sure you have that roadmap. And then the next step is qualifying, because if you have the roadmap, but then the roadmap is just a document that you are not working towards, then you likely will still not qualify. So although you already have that roadmap, although you have an aim, you have a target, you have a place where you're going towards, you're building your profile towards that target, you're doing the right things. Those are what you need to do. Because if you are not walking through your roadmap and you just build that roadmap and then in 6 months' time expect that, oh, I'm now qualified without putting in the work, it doesn't work that way. And so it comes to the qualifying aspect, walking through the roadmap diligently, efficiently, effectively, creatively, optimally, ensuring that you're moving towards that goal that you've set for yourself. And then when you are now qualified, it comes to navigating the application process. It takes 2 months to put together an application for the UK Global Talent Visa if you don't want to rush. If you are planning to rush it, you will still spend at least 2 weeks. And this is you rushing it. The reason is because the kinds of things Technician is asking for, they want to see it backed up with evidence. And so you can't just make an outlandish claim, even though it is true, without backing it up with evidence. Sometimes the evidence may be available in public domain on Google. If they just Google your name, yes, they will be able to find some things about you. But a lot of times, some of your evidence are not in public domain. Some of it may not even be indexed by Google search engine, or it may be hard to find without knowing what you are looking for exactly. Some of them, evidence may even be private information, private document. For example, if you built a startup with the updates in the Technician Visa Guide, January 2025 update, under the innovation criteria, they now require that you show that that innovation has actually been commercialized. So it is no longer enough to say, yes, we've won a bunch of innovation award for this idea that we had. That was fine some years back. Now they want to see that who has bought into this innovation, who are the users using it. And that is not something you may be able to find in public domain, even if your startup that you are using to present has won many innovation awards. So the point I'm making here in terms of navigating the application, navigating the application journey, is that you need to give yourself time to put in a quality application, whether you're doing it yourself or you're doing it with a coach. You need to make sure that any claim that you're making, you back it up with evidence. Don't forget also that you will need three recommenders to write for you. And those recommenders are also busy professionals. They are also leaders in their own right in the field of digital technology. And the truth is that it may take some time for them to be able to get around to getting your letter ready. This is even if you give them some points to say, oh, these are some of the things I would like you to write in my letter. Now, the reality is that although these recommenders are to write the letter 100% by themselves, many recommenders will say to you, I don't have the time to write the kind of letter technician is asking for. Give me some of the key points you want me to touch on, and then I can write it by myself and I can write it in my own words. It's important that you are not using templates. It's important that you are not using AI to just generate something. If they find hints of templating in what it is that you're doing, then it brings into question your application. They start pulling threads. Sometimes they would call your recommenders just to find out, did you write this letter? And so give yourself time for that application process. You can also use checklists. You can also use helpful checklists along those lines. And there are many that you'll find on the Emigrate platform that can help you working towards the application to say, have I ticked all the boxes that I need to tick? Have I gone through the application? We also recommend that you let somebody else who is familiar with the process take a look at your application package. Because sometimes there are things that you may be clear about, you have the context, but then somebody else looking at it may not have the same context that you do. And so they may ask you questions that may save you from wasting money, applying, getting rejected. And then when you get rejected, then they tell you why you got rejected. And then at that point is when you realize, oh, I didn't add a new document. But in the endorsement review process, you can't add new documents. So what that means is you have to do a new application and so on. We generally recommend that also take a look at the feedback that they are giving you when you do apply. When you do apply, that feedback gives you insight into what your journey is looking like from the assessor's point of view. And if you apply and if you apply and you don't get the results you are expecting, please understand that you have the opportunity to appeal, which is called endorsement review in the UK Global Talent Visa. When you do the endorsement review, you are not allowed to add new documents. And so as part of planning your application, we usually recommend that you apply planning and endorsement review in mind. The reason being that should you feel like an assessor may ask a question in a certain light, add document that will answer that question ahead. So that should they ask that question during your endorsement review, you have already added the document and you are just pointing them out to say, oh, the assessor did not consider this, or this in my journey. And so you apply for the endorsement and the endorsement process goes through. Congratulations. At that point, you are now a UK global talent. With the endorsement, though, please understand that the endorsement is not the visa. The endorsement gives you an opportunity to apply for the visa in stage 2. And so with the UK Global Talent Visa, when you get the endorsement, that's stage 1. Stage 1A, you pay on the Home Office site. Stage 1B, you apply on, it used to be technician site, but recently it was changed. So you will still submit your document on Home Office site. The Home Office site is not as user friendly. Let me use that word because I'm being recorded. It's not as user friendly as the Tech Nation version. It was easier then, but I'm guessing the Home Office will be building more features and all of that because that's beside the point. Anyway, start stage 1B. Then stage 2 is when you apply for the actual visa using the endorsement that you've gotten to then go apply for the actual visa. At that point, you are generally 99%. We've seen only one case, not on, I'm saying now statistically, 99% you're sure that you will get the visa, except you've committed, God forbid, things like, yeah, except the applicant has committed things like immigration crime and things like that, or they already have a previous ban and so on, then all of that will still be considered in terms of the visa application stage itself. But then you apply for the visa and so on. There are a couple of things you should also plan at the point of making the visa application. You need to plan for paying for your IHS surcharge, for example, and that at the moment is £1,000, a little over £1,000 per person per person in your family, that is, per year. And so you need to plan for that. You also need to plan for, are you exceptional talent? Are you exceptional promise? Because it may be optimal to apply for certain number of years on the visa. You can apply for as long as 5 years if you wanted to, but it may be optimal to apply for certain number of years because of some system issues on the home office side. And those are things that you will find out at the point of applying for the visa and then looking to renew and so on. You can hypothetically apply for 1 year and then make sure you meet the requirement for making a new application. You don't have to go through the endorsement process again. You just need to apply, making sure that your endorsement has not been redrawn. In most cases, it hasn't been redrawn, and you can apply for that at that point. But yeah, you've applied for the visa, you've gotten the visa, then comes the point of relocation. One of the things that a number of people expect is that, oh, because you're a UK global talent, and just to say again that if you have questions, please drop them in the chat. If you have questions, please drop them in the chat. We'll take as many questions as possible before we close the session today, and then we can continue the conversation in the community as well. Relocation phase, which is the next phase I'm talking about. A number of people expect that there's a red carpet rolled out for them when they move to the UK as global talents. At the moment, it's not the case. And what I mean by that is that except you've already landed a job from your home economy before you moved, you will still get to the UK and then you're applying for roles and things like that. If you're able to work remotely on your existing role, maybe you should keep that role. And then when you've gotten a new role in the UK, maybe that's when you should resign if you're able to work remotely, for example. Maybe you should be applying for new roles in the UK, switch on the VPN, get a UK number, and then you're applying for roles so that when you move, or by the time you are moving, you're already gone far in your process of landing new roles. It could take as much as 2 months, maybe 3 months to actually land a role in the UK moving in. And it's even worse now because the job market is not as rosy as it used to be a few years back. There are still roles. There are many startups starting. There are many startups getting funded. And because of that, they are looking for experts such as yourself, which is part of the reason why the UK has keep these pathways open. So I'm not saying there are no roles, there are no jobs. I'm saying that it could be, if you're lucky, you can get a job very quickly. But then if you're not, it could take a couple of months. And also you want to make sure you plan for all of those as part of your journey. UK Global Talent Visa is one of those visas where you don't require a proof of fund because they know as a talent you have earning capacity. So they don't require you to have a proof of funds to show that you can maintain yourself for a certain number of years and so on. But it's important that you still realize that you need to be able to plan that your relocation journey. If you're moving as a family, you may want to first move as the primary applicant and then let your family join you a little later. So that way you've dealt with some of the moving challenges. And we do have a document that could be helpful for this phase. It's called Welcome Party. It's free. And it's a document that sort of documented the kinds of things that you should be looking at from the point when you want to relocate, 1 month to relocation, to the point of relocation, to 1 month in the UK, to 2 months in the UK, third month in the UK, 1 year in the UK, and also give some insight, even things like settlement and all of that. Integration then is the next phase. You've landed in the UK, you're integrating into the UK, and at that point, there are things you should be aware of as well. And we're saying that the Emigrate platform is able to help with that. How do I rent an apartment? How do I open a bank account? How do I get a credit card? All of those kind of things. There are body system available on the platform that are of people who have actually taken the journey earlier ahead of you, and those are able to help your journey along these lines. And then comes to the pathway to settlement. In 3 years, you get permanent residency, or in 5 years, you get permanent residency with the UK Global Talent Visa. And so at that point, there are things that you should be aware of as well, particularly for people who are still shuttling from maybe America and then the UK. Please bear in mind that for you to qualify as a permanent resident, you need to spend a minimum, and that's for indefinite leave to remain. You need to spend a minimum of 180 days every year, 6 months every year in the UK for you to qualify for indefinite leave to remain. But if you are planning to get the citizenship, you can get the citizenship after 5 years in the UK and 1 year of getting indefinite leave to remain. Those two are required. So it's not just 1 year post ILR, it is 1 year plus ILR. And then also you must have spent a total of 5 years in the UK. Now, one of the tests at that point is going to be how many days you are out of the UK. If you spend more than 90 days in your last year and more than 450 days out of the UK in the last 5 years, you cannot qualify for citizenship. So technically speaking, although you need only to be you can only be out, you can be out of the UK for up to 180 days a year, every year towards your indefinite leave to remain. Technically speaking, if you are looking at planning for the citizenship, you likely want to be out of the UK for less than 90 days every year up until the year of the citizenship. Of course, there are other ways to calculate it and all of that, but this is something to be aware of, to say there's a requirement to say for citizenship, you cannot be out of the UK for more than 450 days. Or else, what would happen is that you extend your pathway to citizenship by as long as you have not met that particular requirement. There are some exceptions to the rule. As you said earlier at the beginning, this is not immigration advice. This is not legal advice. One of the services we're seeing also on the Emigrate platform at this point are people who have qualified for settled in the UK, and then they are looking at options to move into a third country. And there are reasons for that, many reasons for that. Moving to a third country like the US, moving to third countries like the UAE, and so on. And all of these pathways are available on the Emigrate platform. They call it reverse migration currently, and that's what we're calling it at the moment on the platform, because it's easier for people that need that to know what it is. And that also takes you back to that journey again. That journey of you start by planning, and then you qualify, you get endorsed, you can settle and then thrive and then go back to planning again. And all of this is what is available on the Emigrate Tech Visa platform. Once again, thank you so much for joining us in this edition of Emigrate Open Day. We are now at the point of answering questions. We'll be taking as many questions as possible in the chat. Has this been helpful so far? We've been sharing around beyond the endorsement. We've been looking at the UK Global Talent Visa, but using it as a microcosm of a journey of a talent, starting from the planning stage to the point of getting endorsed, which is somewhere in the middle of the journey, to the point of relocation, integration, settlement, all that is managed on the Emigrate platform, all that is value that we bring on the platform Emigrate. We mentioned to say if you waited till the end of this session, we do have a gift for you. And I'm going to be sharing about the gift at this point. While we wait, we will then go into the question and take as many questions as possible. We mentioned at the beginning of this session to say you get one clarity session on the Emigrate platform once you join. You unlock that session by attending the Emigrate Open Day. But this is the gift. We're able to offer you a second clarity session in the Emigrate platform at no cost to you. You can use this clarity session at any point within the next 3 to 6 months. However, if you want to get the clarity session, you will need to get the clarity session by following some instructions. And the instruction is pretty simple. On any one of the Emigrate communities, there are 6 of them at the moment, 6 communities on WhatsApp, Telegram, LinkedIn, and a few others. You have to say on the community to simply say, I attended this Emigrate Open Day on this date, and I have been told that I have gotten a second clarity session, which is a short coaching session. You've gotten a second clarity session at no cost to you. What would happen is that the community manager and the AI is actually being trained at this point to do this without the need of the community managers. The community manager will be able to unlock that for you and add it to your profile on the Emigrate Tech Visa app. Your phone number is one of the unique identifiers, so they're able to use that to add that session. So you can then book the session at any point that you need it, and you can use it to share screen, to share your journey, to brainstorm ideas, to check if you already qualify, to discuss your pre-evaluation form result. You can use the short coaching session, the clarity session, for anything you need across any part of the journey. If you let us know exactly why you are booking the session, we will make sure a coach who is knowledgeable and an expert in that will be on the session to be able to have the conversation with you at that point. I need to mention that this is only available this category of clarity session gift is only available one per individual. And so please, you can't say I've attended 10 Emigrate Open Days, so I have 10 clarity sessions for myself. Fortunately, we can't do that right now because we are limited by time. Now, we're getting into the question of questions that you've had so far. The UK Global Talent application is quite tricky. Do you have a service to an old applicant into making the right application? The answer is yes. We do have that service on the Emigrate platform. We mentioned at the beginning to say we have 4 ways in which we help people on the Emigrate platform, divided into 2 parts, free or premium. 4 ways. Over 80% of what we do on the platform is free. And so you get a lot that is available for free. But then we have the do it yourself with a subscription. We have the do it with me, and we have a do it for me plan on the platform across many of the visa pathways that we support, including the UK Global Talent Visa. With the do-it-yourself with a subscription, you unlock many more clarity sessions that you can use, share screen across any part of the journey that you want. Typical clarity sessions are 10 minutes, and within that 10 minutes, you can do a lot. That 10 minutes can help you find the exact part of the guide that you need. Or if you want a quick review of a letter, you want to share your screen to discuss something, you want a quick look at a particular document, you want to share your story, you can do that in 10 minutes, and the clarity session can help you along those lines. All of these happens with the do-it-yourself with a subscription, and we have subscriptions as low as £25 a month on the Emigrate platform, £175 a year, £350 a year, things like that. We have the do it with me option. And with the do it with me, what you get is additional personalized coaching, one-to-one with Emigrate coaches who are able to help the entire journey. And you can get up to 100 clarity sessions. You can get strategic sessions, 1 hour. You can get access to a lot more with the do it with me option. And then finally, we have the do it for me option on the platform. With the do it for me option, what you get is everything in the do it with me. But in addition, you get technical writing, logistics, project management, business analysis, and everything else that you need for a successful application journey. Just to be clear, when we say do it for me, we are not saying you won't do anything at all. There are things on this journey that only you can do. You will still need to do those. But many of the things that only you, it's not only you that can do it, others can help you, other experts can help you. Then technical writing, compiling document, logistics, all of those things, we would be able to support you in getting those things done as well. It's especially useful for busy professionals as well. And this is available on the Emigrate platform. Hopefully, I answered your question, and you can explore any one of these options as you need, whether it's on the free side, whether it's on the premium side. If I answered your question, please let me know. If you feel I haven't touched on it properly, please drop additional question and we'll take as many of them as possible. At this point, we are taking questions on the Emigrate Open Day. We've shared a lot of information over the last over 1 hour, sharing a lot around the UK Global Talent Journey. And you can ask questions at this point. We won't be able to unmute you for you to ask questions live. However, you can ask the questions in the chat. And if you're watching the replay video, you can ask your question on the comment section of the platform where you're watching this video or in any one of our communities. The community managers will make sure that one of our coaches will be able to get the answer to you as soon as possible. And of course, if you're interested in more premium options, then you can let us know, and then they will direct you to the right service that is suitable for you. I'm taking the next question now. Is it compulsory to have spoken a tech seminar before submitting your application for exceptional promise? I've built and collaborated on a couple of open source projects, fantastic, privately, but I've never been involved in any speaking engagement. I started my global talent journey September 2024, but I've not submitted the application yet, looking at April 2026. So the answer is no, it's not compulsory for you to have spoken at tech events, although it is beneficial if you have, but it's not compulsory. There are 5 criteria for the UK Global Talent Visa Exceptional Promise, and you only need to qualify under 3 of the 5 criteria. Number 1 is you have to show you're a leading talent in your field. Number 2 is you need proof of innovation. Number 3, proof of recognition. Sorry, I'm getting confused because I use OC1. So MC1, proof of leading talent. OC1 is proof of innovation. OC2 is proof of recognition. OC3 is proof of impact, significant contribution. OC4 is academic excellence. Of the last 4 that I've mentioned, you need to only show 2. One of them is proof of recognition, which is OC2. But then there's innovation, OC1. There's OC3, which is significant contribution or impact. And so you can decide not to use OC2 at all if you meet the other criteria, for example. But also in OC2, significant recognition is not only speaking at tech events. There are several other ways in which you can show significant recognition in your field. So yes, it is beneficial for you to speak at the event, but that's not the only way that you can show recognition, which is OC2. And that's not the only way you can meet all of the criteria of the visa. Hopefully that was helpful. And if you like us to help take a look to say what you've done so far, you can have your roadmap ready. Book a clarity session, like I mentioned, because you're on this call to this point, you've won at least 1 clarity session, which will unlock in your app once you follow the instruction I mentioned earlier, and I'll give it again. And you can share your screen. You can speak with a coach, and the coach will be able to give you a bit of insight to say, yes, your roadmap looks good. Yes, you're on the right track. Yes, what if you did this and that to add to your profile? Because one of the things we advise is that target multiple criteria at the same time. And then when you are closer to your application, 1 to 2 months to your application, you can then decide to say, okay, yes, I'm stronger at this one, so I'm going to put these forward. Because sometimes some evidence that works for one can also work for another criteria. For example, some evidence that works for recognition can also work for leading talent. There are 2 distinct criteria. Please don't get me wrong. They are very, very distinct criteria, but there are some things that could work across those 2. There are some things that could work for innovation, that could work for significant impact. So what we typically advise is that target all of the criteria if you are starting a journey. But at the point of you applying, you should already know to say these are the three criteria I'm targeting, and then you're making sure your evidence correlates and correlates with those criteria. Next question says, it appears there is a quota for endorsements. Please help clarify. No, there's no quota for endorsements. There used to be a quota, but that quota was removed in 2020. So 2020 was the last year where there was a quota for the UK Global Talent Visa. For the UK Global Talent Visa generally. So since then, there hasn't been any quota. At least there's no public information about any quota of any sort. So no, there's no quota. What you may be asking though, and I'll answer this other part of the question, is that the assessment is stricter now than it was 3 years ago. And so it is possible that somebody that applied for endorsement, and we've seen that happen to someone on the platform in the past, although the person also didn't keep up with some of the things that they should have been doing in building, and they also let their endorsement expire. So there were many complications in this example, but this is a specific person's story who left the UK for 2 years, and then on 2 years and 3 months decided they wanted to come back to the UK. It happens, right? And at that point, because they've left for 2 years, their endorsement has expired, so they didn't qualify any longer to just reapply. It means that you have to apply for endorsement again, and then they just apply for endorsement again with the same documents they applied with 2 years ago, about 3 years ago or so. But then this time around, they got rejected, and then they had to still adjust their application before they got re-endorsed the second time. So a lot of complication in that journey and all of that. Was it necessary? If you ask me, I don't know. The point I'm making though is they've become stricter in terms of assessment than they used to be. Also, some things that used to count. So, for example, I'm Nigerian and I come from Nigeria, and we have a significant Nigerian community on the Emigrate platform. Some of the Nigerian media were unscrupulous, if I may put it that way. And so Tech Nation also no longer trust some of these Nigerian media. I don't want to mention their names, so we don't, what's the name? They don't trust those Nigerian media again. And so if you look at some of the feedback, you will see that, oh, they don't really consider them because they've seen people manipulating records, and also Tech Nation also goes into the metadata of site just to know when an article was published, to make sure it's not a backdated article and things like that. So they do their own deep checks as well, just to make sure that this person that is applying actually qualifies based on the criteria that has been laid out. So no quota, but the endorsement is stricter, and the endorsement is checking more and more on all of the requirements. Next question says, for endorsement purposes, would having a distinction in a UK master's degree provide any advantage? Not directly, although you could use it, but not directly. The reason is because Tech Nation is not looking for you as a student. They are looking for you as a leading professional in your field of endeavor. So being a student is not something that really counts according to the criteria. However, under the academic excellence, maybe as part of that master's degree, academic excellence is OC4. You've published papers. Your paper has a lot of citation, although that's usually PhDs, not masters. But maybe as part of your masters, or while you're doing your masters at the moment, you want to do that. You've done a lot of research, you've published papers, there's a lot of citation for those papers. There are a lot of other peers in the industry using some of the results of your work and so on. That could qualify you. As a student as well, if your visa allows it, maybe you built something And that's something in terms of innovation now, and that something is now being commercialized. That could qualify you. But by itself to say, oh, I have a distinction in a UK Masters, no, that's not really part of the criteria at all. Oh, somebody answered your question. Your academic attainment does not pull weight. It's physical, tangible. Yes. So this person has answered your question as well, and I'll just read it out for the benefit of those watching the replay. Somebody in the community mentioned that nope, your academic attainment does not pull weight. It's physical, real, tangible, impactful digital contribution that counts. That's correct as far as I understand it as well. How many months can you wait after getting endorsement before you can apply for visa or move to the UK? I believe you have to apply for the visa within 3 months. I need to check that. Please check online. You'll find the correct answer. But I believe it's 3 months. But I think the question you're asking is when do you need to tell them you are moving to the UK? You can tell them with the endorsement to say you are moving to the UK in 11 months' time, right? To say you got the endorsement in January, but when are you moving to the UK? You're moving in September or October. That's allowed. When they issue your visa will start counting about 2 weeks before you said you are going to move to the UK. So you don't have to wait. Once you get the endorsement, you can apply. The only thing is that you can say exactly when you are looking to move. And that's one of the tips I was going to mention earlier, actually. So it's good that you brought up this question. When you get your endorsement, also plan when you are moving because when your visa is issued, let's say you get exceptional talent and you get exceptional talent, which means you have 3 years to indefinite leave to remain. You got endorsed in January and then you apply in January, but then you get your visa for February, but you now decide that it is in April, May that you decide to move. The issue is that you can apply for indefinite leave to remain 28 days before your visa expires. That's in 3 years, right? But you will now be short by 1 month or 2 months, which means you would have to first renew your visa as exceptional talent before you now apply for indefinite leave to remain. So because of the 1 or 2 months that you didn't plan at the beginning of the journey, you may be spending a lot more money than you need to at the end of the journey of moving from global talent to indefinite leave to remain. So it's best that you plan your journey when you're applying to decide to say, okay, yes, this is when I'm looking at moving, and based on that, so that you are optimal in terms of the number of years that you are in the UK. So you qualify for ILR 28 days before you apply for it, and then that's the shortest pathway to settlement. We're coming towards the end of the session. And so any last minute questions you want to ask now? As primary applicant that want to move, can you pay for 3 years IHS while your dependent pay for 1 year? No, the system currently does not allow that. Your dependents will be forced to pay for 3 years as well. So their system doesn't allow that at the moment. It's part of what, as a group, TN Niger, we actually are pushing for to say that people are having to spend more money than they need to. And so if the system can be more flexible, it would be useful for that flexibility. So unfortunately, no, you can, but there are a few ways around that. If you book a clarity session, that can be discussed. Kindly download, yes. Thanks for the informative session. I'm keen on knowing how the 180 day is calculated at the point of applying for ILR. Is it per calendar year by start date? There's also a mention of rolling year. I would really appreciate that. We can help you because part of the Emigrate platform, there's an application that will help you count your years based on how the Home Office will count it and will help you plan. You can also, and this is part of the AI that is available to you. It's launching soon, but if you can get on the waiting list for that. And also in it's it's a bit complicated, and it's easier to, you can book a clarity session to discuss it and all. And you can also get access to the calendar counter and all on the platform. And if you check online, I believe you will also be able to find a couple of other open tools and all that helps with calculating the number of months and so on. But yeah, it's something important. It's an important thing if you're already endorsed, if you're counting towards permanent residency, please don't miscount it because the Home Office is also strict now, and just a small mistake in terms of calculating your trips in and out and so on could cause you to spend more time towards permanent residency. There are some exceptions to if you leave because of work and so on. There are some exceptions there that you can explore. How can someone with less experience apply? Qualify first and then apply. That's what we've been saying throughout this session. These 2 hours, what we are saying is become globally attractive, have many options, and then one of those options is the UK Global Talent Visa. So if you're looking at UK Global Talent Visa and you are not yet qualified, what you should be doing is building your pathway to qualification. Once you are qualified, then you can apply successfully. We are not saying fake it till you make it in this case. No, we're saying become globally attractive. Then you are able to qualify easily. That's what this platform stands for. And we believe that you can qualify. It may take a bit of time, but if you work towards it right now, you can qualify. And so that work is part of what we are able to support you with. We are able to support your journey. We're able to point you in the right direction. We're able to help you see many other options. You can also look at intermediate steps. We talk about the likes of the Portugal Digital Nomad Visa to say, if you're thinking of, oh, I want to move immediately, I'm not yet qualified, and UK is my final destination in quote, although you can also look at the rest of the world. Once the UK opens up to you, the rest of the world opens up to you. And sometimes you wonder if the UK is your best place. So you can consider it by yourself. But the point I'm making is that you can look at intermediate steps, like Malta Digital Nomad is part of what we consider intermediate step for me anyway on the platform. And you can look at that because they are not, Malta isn't the pathway to settlement directly. Portugal Digital Nomad is, and you could use the digital nomad one in Europe and all. So there's a lot there that what you want to do is be globally attractive. Then you have a lot of options, and we can look at all of those options. Thank you for answering the question. Next question. Thank you for answering the question on handholding. Please, what does the premium do it for me cost, and what is the success rate? These are things that we'll need to discuss because we have different levels of do it for me, from as low as £4,000 to as high as £75,000. So it depends on too many things for us to be able to. My colleagues will share our pricing list and all of that, so you can take a look at that. But it's best for you to speak with a coach, let them understand your journey, then they will be able to recommend to say this is what would look, this is what you may need from a do it for me, and they will also be able to recommend some of our other options as well. As I mentioned, we start from free up to do it for me, so it depends on too many things for us to be able to say on this call to say this is the cost. But once you do the one-to-one clarity session, they will be able to share with you to say, oh yeah, this is what we're offering, and that could help you in one way or the other. Thank you so much for everyone. Thank you for being with us so far on the Emigrate Open Day today. Today we've been talking about the UK Global Talent Visa, but the lens we've been using to look at it today has been a lens of looking at the entire journey. Looking at the entire journey from being globally attractive to the point of you applying successfully, to the point of you getting endorsed, to the point of you relocating, integrating, settling in the new economy, and so on. That's the point where we've been looking at the UK Global Talent Visa from today. And just to mention that we have resources that has gone in depth into the various aspects of the UK Global Talent Visa, into various aspects of the Tech Nation Visa Guide. Our intention today was not to drill down into the guide. Our intention today was to help you see the full journey, and then also how you can make sure you are optimizing your journey regardless of what stage of that journey you are on or the other. On the Emigrate platform, we have flexible packages that can help your journey across the free offering. They do it yourself with a subscription, they do it with me, and they do it for me packages. We have communities on the Emigrate platform on WhatsApp, Telegram, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, which is now X, and many others. And you can join these communities. You can use it as part of your pathway. We are not able to answer questions in real time, but we are able to answer eventually on these platforms. We are committed to support your journey on these communities, but you can also interact with other members of the community. You can like, you can share, you can comment, and that can also help your journey towards being globally attractive. If you haven't done so, where you want to start is the Emigrate Tech Visa app. Many of what we deliver for free is available on the app. You also can unlock more clarity sessions, more coaching sessions on the app by you using the app regularly. We run a referral bonus as well. And Emigrate AI is being built to the core of everything we do on the platform. And across the entire journey, from preparation, we have AI tools that can help you, to the road mapping, to qualifying, to navigating the application process, to the endorsement roadmap, to the relocation roadmap, to the integration roadmap, settlement roadmap, and even the reverse migration preparation if you're looking at moving to a third country or moving back to your home country at a higher level. All of that built in one holistic platform. And we come with ecosystem partners that can help your journey, from information, from training if you're an absolute beginner, to pre-incubation if you're looking at building a startup, to boot camps, to access to lawyers, immigration consultants, financing, proof of funds, shipping and logistics. If you're looking for a role by the time you move into the new economy, the UK, HR recruitment, relationship, cultural awareness, language. Also, we have relationship and we can refer to some of those, and we are also even delving into policy making at this point on the platform, so we have an idea of what kind of policy is coming in some countries. We can't share it publicly on this forum, but the point is, Emigrate is that one platform that can help your entire journey. And one of our partners is Bincom Dev Center. With Labs by Bincom, you are able to, it's a pre-incubator program that is able to help you build a startup. Best way to learn how to build a startup is to build a startup yourself. And this is what Labs by Bincom will help you do. It's pre-incubation. If you feel like you don't have the right startup experience in your portfolio, this may be a good way for you to start that journey. With the UK Global Talent Visa, part of what they are looking for is product-led digital technology. And so you could use this as part of your journey of building that. On the Emigrate platform, the UK Global Talent Visa is just one out of over 46 different distinct routes that are available on the platform at this point. And every one of those routes have a common denominator, but you can take a screenshot to say, give you an idea of some of these. This is not a comprehensive list of all routes, and this is not even a comprehensive list of all tech visa routes. This is just to give you an idea of the kinds of things that you can be looking for depending on where you are. Lowest common denominator, be globally attractive. If you are globally attractive, you have options. On the Emigrate Tech Visa platform, we focus on options that are pathways to settlement. It could be direct or indirect. We focus on pathways where you can move with your family, and we focus on pathways where beginners can plan. So if you've not even started your journey at all, you can plan over a period of time, and that entire planning, that entire journey, we can help you with. And right now, we focused on our Emigrate Tech Visa phase, where we are only focused on tech visas, but we are working really hard to say next year we will be launching more visa routes outside of the technology route. Exciting. Maybe not next year, but soon we'll be launching that. But for now, we are focused on the Emigrate Tech Visa, although we do have successes outside the technology route with Global Talent and a few others, but our focus is on the technology route. We do in-depth sessions like this. We spend almost 2 hours now drilling down into this pathway, and there's a lot more to learn there. And there are several open days where we have, and all those replay videos are available to you on the platform. We have this as well available, which is the tech visa landscape. It's a drill down into various visa pathways. What the team have done is compile a lot of information, qualification criteria. Which ones can you do as a beginner? Which one can you do at intermediate expert? What are the costs? What are hidden costs? Because some of these pathways, although they tell you one cost, by the time you drill down, and these are the government costs I'm talking about, by the time you drill down, you find out that there are other costs you should plan for. For example, in the UK, you need to plan for IHS surcharge, and it's at over £1,000 per year per person for most routes. Most immigration routes requires you to pay it. We have premium group coaching sessions that are available on the platform, and they are not one-to-one sessions, but they are sessions where you can come on screen, you can ask questions from the coaches, you can do live Q&A, and those are more intimate circles where you can even share your documents. They are usually not recorded sessions, and so yeah, this is part of what's available once you subscribe on the platform. And if you say I don't yet subscribe, I don't yet qualify, what you should be doing is that you should be planning your journey. You should build a personalized roadmap for yourself. Whether you're an absolute newbie, whether you're an expert, you still need a roadmap. And that roadmap is supposed to help you go from where you are to where you want to be. That roadmap should help you become globally attractive. That roadmap should not just target a visa. There's life after the visa. There's life after moving. There's life after relocating successfully. That roadmap should look at the entire end-to-end journey. And that's what we specialize on in the Emigrate platform. On the Emigrate platform, you get access to a number of do-it-yourself resources and packages on the platform that you should know about. These are some of them. We've drilled down into them in some of our previous open days, so I'm not going to do so right now, but you can take a screenshot in case you haven't seen this, and this is available on the app. If you go on the app under packages, under country specific packages, you will find access to this. Once you book the package, it will send it to you as an email. We're working hard to make the app more user friendly, and please give us feedback as regards the app, and those feedback will help us continue to build the product that you would love and you'll be able to use every day to help your entire journey of relocation and settlement. But get the app. As of today, our minimum viable product is absolutely useful for your journey. Absolutely useful for your journey, and that's part of what you should get. We have a number of open days coming up soon, and if you need help, you can send us a WhatsApp message, and the WhatsApp message can use any of the lines on the screen. Send us a WhatsApp message, and we'll be able to direct you to what you need. We'll be able to direct you to the right coach as needed. Thank you so much for joining us during this edition of Emigrate Open Day. We hope this has been useful for you. We hope this has been useful for your journey. Today, we have been looking at the UK Global Talent Visa, a lot to share, and hopefully we did justice to having you here for 2 hours. Was this was this useful for you? Do let us know. The feedback is helpful. Do let us know. We also ask that you can give us ratings, you can review on public forums as needed. But if this was useful, do let us know. That helps us to continue doing these free sessions. That helps us to continue doing some of these sessions so that we can help as many people as possible. And we can continue the conversation in the Emigrate community. We can continue the conversation on the one-to-one sessions. We can continue the conversation on our office hours. We can continue the conversation on subsequent open days. We do these regularly on the Emigrate platform. And as more coaches are being onboarded, we have many more touch points where you can get access to information, inspiration, and holding roadmap, several features, and several solutions that Emigrate has to offer. Thank you, thank you, thank you. If you're an absolute beginner, start now. Get a roadmap and start following it. If you're at intermediate level, measure where you are with what you have done already. You will see gaps in your journey. Those gaps are what you want to build a roadmap for and use that roadmap to start making sure you fill in those gaps. If you are advanced level, you are likely already qualified, but in case you are not, you can also do the same as I mentioned to the intermediate. If you are already qualified, you're ready to apply, what you want to do is then start the application roadmap. Don't rush it. Don't rush and just submit a suboptimal application. It can lead to rejection, and that can be frustrating. That can also be discouraging. Spend time to make sure you are telling your story in the right way, in a way where they will recognize that you are qualified. And if you are looking to switch your visa, you're already in the UK, looking to switch your visa from one to the other, please note that the requirement is exactly the same for you as for someone that is not on a visa. You need to also make sure that you tick all the boxes. You need to make sure that you qualify. And then when you qualify, apply. Don't wait till 1 month till your visa will expire before you then start that, oh, how will I qualify in 1 month? It's almost impossible if you were not qualified already. And yes, it's possible that some people are already qualified, they just don't know. Like I said, sometimes the clock is right once a day or twice a day. The key point is that ensure that you have that roadmap and you are following it. Don't let that roadmap be about getting endorsed. Let that roadmap be about being globally attractive, because if you are globally attractive, you have options. Thank you, and thank you.